So if you've spent any time online lately, you've probably been absolutely flooded with ads for lung supplements, right? They all promise to detox and cleanse your entire respiratory system. But what is the real story behind all these claims? Okay, let's dive in and really separate the science from the sales pitch.
This is the big question, isn't it? And it feels like everyone is asking this right now. Honestly, it's no surprise. With all the growing concerns about everything from city air pollution to, post-pandemic lung health, the idea of some magic pill that can just wipe the slate clean, well, it's incredibly appealing.
And this is exactly the kind of promise that has fueled the whole lung detox trend to an absolute fever pitch, especially on platforms like TikTok. You see these miraculous-sounding herbal cleanses promising a super quick fix, but the actual science of how our lungs work tells a much more sophisticated and, frankly, a much more interesting story.
So our first step here is to get right to the heart of the matter. We are going to debunk this central myth of lung detoxing by just looking at how your respiratory system is actually designed to work in the first place.
Okay, and here it is. This is the crucial point you need to hear. That word, detox, it's pretty much just a marketing buzzword. The reality is that your lungs are these incredible, self-cleaning organs. You simply cannot cleanse them with a supplement in the way these ads want you to believe.
So how do they clean themselves? Well, check this out. Your body has its own brilliant little cleaning crew. These tiny, hair-like structures are called cilia, and they are constantly at work, always sweeping mucus along with all the trapped dust and pollutants up and out of your airways. This is the body's natural, built-in detox system.
Okay, so if we can't really cleanse our lungs, then what's the point of all these supplements? This is where we need to make a really big mental shift, away from this idea of cleansing and toward the scientifically backed concept of supporting.
And this really illustrates the true role of a good supplement. See, they aren't cleaning agents. Think of them as support tools. They provide the key micronutrients your body needs to do things like protect the delicate lung tissues from damage, to help reduce inflammation, and to repair any existing damage.
All right, with that framework in mind, let's get to the good stuff. Let's look at 5 key supplements that current research points to for some really powerful lung support. This is an evidence-based guide for what's actually effective right now.
And here's just a quick peek at where we're headed. We're going to cover 5 key players: NAC for mucus, vitamin D3 for immunity, quercetin for allergies, mullein for soothing irritation, and even omega-3s for the actual structure of your lungs. So let's get into the details for each one.
First up, we're tackling what's probably the most common complaint out there, mucus. And for that, we turn to something called N-acetylcysteine, or just NAC for short. If you're dealing with that thick, stubborn congestion, this is the supplement that respiratory experts often look to first. Now, NAC is fascinating because it plays this powerful dual role. First, it literally chemically breaks the bonds in mucus proteins, which makes it thinner and way easier to clear. But just as important, it's also a precursor to glutathione, which is your body's master antioxidant. So it helps protect your lung cells from damage right at the source.
And because of that incredible dual-action power, NAC is truly considered the gold standard in the world of respiratory support. It's one of the most well-researched compounds we have for lung health, period.
All right, so we've covered managing mucus. Now let's zoom out to the bigger picture, your immune system's response. This is where we bring in vitamin D3, the immunity anchor. We used to think of it just for bone health, but the research has made it crystal clear that the sunshine vitamin is a critical player in lung immunity.
So how does it actually work? Well, vitamin D helps your body produce its own natural antimicrobial compounds right there in the respiratory tract. It acts like a first line of defense against any invaders. And yes, studies consistently show that low levels of vitamin D are directly linked to a higher risk of respiratory infections.
Now, while vitamin D3 provides sort of a broad shield for your immune system, our next supplement is more like a targeted weapon, especially when it comes to allergens and pollutants. It's quercetin, a natural plant flavonoid, and you'll almost always see it paired with bromelain, that's an enzyme from pineapples, which dramatically boosts its absorption.
The key thing to know about quercetin is that it helps calm down the very cells in your body that release histamine. So by preventing that release, it helps manage all the swelling and mucus production that are tied to allergies and asthma. It also helps dial down the body's inflammatory signals, which is fantastic for people living in high pollution areas.
So NAC is a powerhouse for clearing out mucus, but what about soothing that raw irritation that so often comes with a cough? That brings us to a gentler, more traditional approach, mullein leaf. This stuff has been used for centuries to calm down respiratory irritation.
Mullein works in 2 really cool, complementary ways.
As a demulcent, it creates a soothing film over irritated tissues, perfect for that dry, hacking cough. But it's also an expectorant, which just means it helps your body clear out any excess mucus more efficiently. It's this wonderful combination of both soothing and clearing.
Okay, so we've managed mucus, we've soothed irritation, and we've calmed inflammation. But, none of that matters without a strong foundation. And that's where our final, and maybe most overlooked lung supporter comes in, healthy fats. We always associate omega-3s with heart and brain health, but it turns out our lungs are incredibly fat-hungry as well.
Yeah, this is all about the physical structure of your lungs. The tiny little air sacs called alveoli, where all the gas exchange happens, they need healthy fats to stay flexible and efficient. And research is now showing that omega-3s can actually improve breathing capacity and may even help slow down that natural decline in lung function that comes with getting older.
Now, as powerful as these supplements can be, they don't work in a vacuum. I have to say this: no pill on earth can outperform a poor lifestyle. So let's quickly look at a few habits that are just as important for maximizing your lung health.
And here's a stat that might just make you sit up a little straighter. Literally, just by slouching at your desk, you can compress your lungs and reduce their capacity by up to 30%. Good posture isn't just about looking confident, it's about giving your lungs the physical space they need to do their job properly. And hey, it's free and it has an immediate impact.
And beyond just passive improvements like posture, you can actively train your lungs, just like any other muscle. This simple exercise, it's called box breathing, is used by everyone from elite athletes to even Navy SEALs to build respiratory endurance. Let's just try one cycle right now. Inhale through your nose for 4. Hold it for 4. Now exhale slowly for 4. And hold the empty state for 4. Just repeating this a few times a day can make a huge difference.
So, the main takeaway from all this is simple. It's time to shift our thinking. We need to move from that reactive cleansing mindset to one of proactive daily support. Whether it's through targeted nutrition, or just sitting up straight, or mindful breathing. The real question isn't how to cleanse your lungs, it's how will you choose to support them.